How's everyone doing this Monday night? It's an absolute pleasure. October 30th, 2023. I'm going to share this one out real quick. Thank you for joining. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss any of our live content. We drop the shorts. We rant for an hour-long live session. What we do is we run it up on a daily basis, and I try to bring content to allow you guys to take effective action. That's the point. That's the purpose. That's the mission. We're 100% locked in right now. It's a pleasure to have you with me here tonight. And like I said, I'm going to share this one out real quick. Please give me a moment, and we'll get this session started right away. We're going to be titling this session here, XRP Rises After Worst Crash in History. Okay, so that's the title of tonight's session. It's going to be an absolute pleasure to bring it to you. And as always, couldn't do it without this community support. It's just been incredible as of late. And I know it's been a tough, long bear market recession. We still have a ways to go. And I want to remind everyone where we're at on the timeline, right? So that's why tonight's session is reminding folks that, to me, it's very clear. And all we have left, our only hope and prayer left, is that XRP is going to rise after the worst crash in history. We're starting to see the beginning of this right now. And it's been clear. We've been anxious for XRP to go up. And we're going to put out that tweet right now. And then we're going to get it rock and rolling. It's very clear that we thought XRP was going to go back in 2018, 2019. Many of you have been in the community here for a few years at least. If you're new here, welcome. We're not just about XRP. We're about a whole heck of a lot more, including every single asset class. But we thought that XRP was going to move a lot sooner, right? And then after clarity, we thought that we would have at least new all-time high, for sure. And by now, we thought that we'd be at least back to all-time high and that we were well on our way past that. Well, everything's still at play, but it appears that the rise from the ashes meme, riddle, whatever you want to call it, is the reality that we're experiencing right now. And a lot of folks are losing patience. A lot of folks are getting distracted. It is not meme coin season anymore. Liquidity is simply leaving the space now because people are losing faith, right? And this is the moment that we've been talking about here for a while, where Max Payne coming in, blood on the streets. There's a reason why Buffett's sitting on so much damn cash, and it's because he's ready to make big moves and buy all of these assets on the cheap, just like Buffett, the billionaires, the BlackRocks, the bankers. This is a controlled demolition, is one of the best descriptions for what we're living through, and it's a pleasure to come at you guys here once again on a Monday night session. Maybe is Monday Night Football? I guess Monday Night Football is not over yet. It's almost 8 o'clock here on the West Coast. That's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern. And let me know in the comments where you guys are coming from tonight. We always got the new folks coming through. It's a pleasure to have you. We always have our usuals like Young Quavo in the chat, dropping a 20 spot. Young Quavo, I see you. I love you, and I appreciate the support, my friend. Absolute pleasure to have a couple hundred with us. Let's run it up. Let's get right on into it. Appreciate you guys. By the way, I am sipping a little secret sauce, a little bourbon tonight. Had to change it up, and it's an absolute pleasure. Cheers, everyone. All right. Let's have ourselves some fun, huh? We might get into some trouble tonight. Current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I'm your host, Zach Rector. Let's get it going. Right now, we have our Bitcoin, your Bitcoin, ain't my Bitcoin, 34,330, 1,800 for Ethereum and XRP at 57.89. Not 589, 57.89 is what I just pulled, about 57 cents, just under 58. We're watching it closely. Here's your Bitcoin chart on the daily. We're starting a new candle for October 31st right here. This current candle we're watching is October 31st. We are in the middle of a 33% bull trap rally. In the middle of a much bigger 127% bull trap rally. And we're at an interesting inflection point in the markets where we have a hype narrative that got us somewhere, a little Bitcoin spot ETF fake out. Where do we go from here is the big question. And you're getting a lot of people worked up. The Bitcoin bros are very mad at me. I don't want to offend anyone. Not here to kill the vibe. I just don't want my community to get faked out and liquidated like everybody else. And so once again, we don't ride with these narratives. And in fact, we place our shorts usually. Right now, I'm not in any active trade, but this is how I've shorted Bitcoin exclusively And, we've only lost one time doing this because we just watch these narratives along with some basic TA, watch the narrative, watch the Bitcoin bros get faked out time and time again. And now, they want to come at the XRP community too. That's fine. That's okay. I've been here in the XRP community. We get great news, no price action. That sucks. What I see in the Bitcoin space and some of the other memes, some of the other hype, and a lot of the speculation in this space is narratives, hype, speculation, run up, and then dump. And what we're watching right now is an exciting moment. Everyone is feeling a little bullish. And this is how manipulated this asset is. It goes from sub 30, right, by a ways. And in fact, I'll back out real quick on my chart just to show you what we're working with. Because when we zoom out, we get a little bit better perspective on where this thing's at, right? Right now, let me adjust. Right now, here we go. You can see where we're at. 127% bull trap rally since the November lows, right? We get a run up right here, all the way back up to 35,000, watching it closely. But when you look at the real story here that's pumping this thing, and just before we made this move, like I said, we were down at 25,000 all through August, September, and then we start to break out in September back up to 27,000, and then we find ourselves here. We start this pump 2 weeks ago around the solar eclipse, go figure. And then for the last 2 weeks leading up to the lunar eclipse, full harvest moon, they ritualized us once again with a pump, okay, and for whatever reason. And this is the story that the masses get. You got to understand this. This is how the elites operate. If you want the secret sauce, I'll give you the secret sauce. A lot of people think, that's crazy talk. What we're doing here, the analysis that we put together. But this is why we've been spot on. And right now, what we see is 35K Bitcoin has a lot of people excited once again. That brings a lot of the Bitcoin guys back in. And what they want in the Bitcoin community is somebody else to buy their bag. That's the end of that story. There is some in that community, some of them call themselves Bitcoin maxis, that want to hold on to Bitcoin and use Bitcoin. They don't want to sell back into fiat. And I agree with a lot of the Bitcoin story. That's the thing about the Bitcoin bros and their whole story. I was once, hanging out with them, had my Bitcoin, didn't have any XRP, had no idea about XRP. But it's incredible to me, and I want to give a shout out. I saw Mickle smack down Jimmy, one of the Bitcoin guys that's been around in the community for a long time. And Mickle respectfully shut him down with this Bitcoin maxi nonsense about Bitcoin being the only protocol ledger that matters. It's just ridiculous. And what I've liked to point out and give respect to Bitcoin for is that they've settled $100 trillion worth of value so far. That's fantastic. But this is one of the most manipulated asset classes in the world, cryptocurrency. But in Bitcoin in particular, right, we understand Tether's been the main lever, but now you've been seeing the token factory from these exchanges. And these are stable coins that are being released by these different exchanges. A lot of them on the ERC20 protocol, Ethereum token factory, go figure. And this is what's made up a manipulated cryptocurrency space up until now. I just would like to see some of that get cleaned out. That's why I want to see the spot market introduced, because we already have the futures market. We understand that there is up to 100x leverage or more in some case on cryptocurrencies, which is fine. I'm all for that. But I just want us to have real backing, real reserves, and real claims to back what's being sold here with the stable coins that we are using. And this is what gets so exciting, folks, is I covered this yesterday in a Twitter space. I had one of the best sessions, I think, that's out there on discussing XRPL and all the current existing amendments, proposals, and basically the XRPL politics and everything. I ran through it. Huge shout to Vet from XRP Cafe. We ran through a Twitter space. It was 4 hours long. Twitter space, right? It goes a little bit long. But the first hour of that, if you guys want to know everything that's happening on the XRPL right now, we just went through all of the issues. But the reason why I mentioned that is because we talked about the clawback amendment. The clawback amendment is one of those amendments that's going to be necessary for more stablecoin issuers who need to follow the compliance and regulation of the banking laws and stablecoin laws that are going to be passed, right? Some countries further along, United States left behind. And so what we get with the clawback is we get more issuers coming to the XRP ledger and issuing stable coins. And we want to see stable coins that are actually backed by the claim that's being sold, right? It's a real claim to what we are being told, sold on the Trust Me Bro stablecoin story, right? Now, does USDC have a big role to play in this? I believe they do. I believe that USDC is the big one. We've been waiting for Tether to pop, and maybe Tether never will pop, and maybe Bitcoin still will exist. I'm not one that is, Bitcoin goes to zero, like my mentor Dan Pena says. When we found out who created Bitcoin, we would run to sell it as fast as possible, and it would drop to zero in an instant. That's what he says. He's a crazy old man, so take it for what it's worth. I'm not in the camp that we have to see it go to zero. I'm just in the camp that we are going to settle. So we already settled 100 trillion on the Bitcoin ledger. Fantastic. Respect. Let's pay our dues. Now let's go move, hundreds of trillions of dollars every year. Let's go settle up and park quadrillions on these ledgers, right? And if you think that Bitcoin's going to eat up all of that, I think that you've bought into a narrative, and you've bought into a narrative that's a complete lie. Because that's not how the technology works. That's not how financial markets work. And the real ability here in the capabilities and the tools that come with programmable money, right, is what you get the mainstream financial markets coming to participate with. They want permissioned, they want closed off, they want abilities. And this is what the XRPL is going to have now that we have NFTs. We're going to get the automated market maker. Then we're going to get the clawback amendment. There's 5 proposals or 5 amendments that are up for voting right now. I went through all of them yesterday with Vet. There's a good chance that they're all going to pass here shortly. Updating NFTs, updating fees, some stuff that I barely understood really what he was talking about, but it's like, okay, this sounds like it's a necessary change, and I trust the developers. And this is the beautiful thing, is that with the XRPL, we're truly decentralized. Unlike with Bitcoin, we're not. It's controlled by a few large mining pools. And unlike with Ethereum, which is obviously controlled by that whole mafia there, the Ethereum gang. And they, for whatever, for whatever reason, we're the chosen ones. We're willing to go get the deal done with our SEC to get Bill Hinman to make the statement that he made. What's unraveling right now is that whole narrative. What's unraveling right now is that Bitcoin is the only alternative. And I'm all for Bitcoin getting folks in here. You got to give it props. Bitcoin's ran up this whole entire year based off of a banking crisis narrative and based off of folks wanting an alternative. That's great. It gets them to crypto. It's just like NFTs. Even though I'm not a fan of pixelated pictures, I'm not really into that. I don't own really. I have a few NFTs that I got for free, I think. And I actually had to pay like $100 in Ethereum gas fees to receive a dozen free NFTs. That's how stupid that was, right? But the NFTs bring adoption. Metaverse is going to bring adoption. And when they do come, the adults in the room and the institutions that have trillions of dollars to settle every single day, they're not going to be playing around with the Bitcoin protocol, right? And the Bitcoin store of value narrative, that might get it somewhere, that might keep its role. But what I'm seeing right now is basically a flight to quality, in the words of Larry Fink, where folks are coming into Bitcoin first. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance go up. That's fantastic. We're also seeing gold back up to $2,000, silver back above $23. That's a flight to quality. We're seeing right now the worst crash in history for bonds, and it's beginning for the equities, and it's starting to roll over for real estate. So right now, this is why I titled XRP Rises After the Worst Crash in History. We're going through the worst crash in history. We can put on the crypto blinders. We can be a Bitcoin bro and think that we're heading to the moon right now. And I'm just putting out the warning that that might not be the case. And we might be getting set up here once again once again. And if anybody wants to know why I believe this even further, technicals to back it up, we did a 342% bull trap rally in 2019, the second year of that bear market, 342% bull trap rally. 3,000 to 13,000. Have a good time. This is great. That's when I sold off my Bitcoin. And then we crashed back down to 3,000 during March of 2020. And you might be saying, well, we're not going to have March of 2020 simulation events again. Well, God willing. And we just got World War III going to the next phase. So we're going to be talking about that tonight as well, too, right? This is an exciting time. But we talked about the world burning down around us. In the XRP community, it's been a rough go at it, and it's going to continue to be a rough go at it because we aren't seeing XRP rise yet. But when does XRP rise? It's going to be rising after the worst crash in history, or at least we're going to prolong through the beginning of this crash for a little bit longer before we get set off. I'm going to show some TA towards the end of this from my good friend Will, Crypto Insight UK, where he talks about T minus 15 days. To me, that shows that we have a make or break move coming up here shortly. This level right here is kind of a no man's land up at 35K. And so we could even pump up to 40K. We could really do something incredible. Like I said, last bear market, we did a 342% bull run. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were all excited. I was going all in on XRP at that point. That's when I was shifting all my Bitcoin to XRP. And I was FOMOing in. I thought I was doing riddles. I was, we thought we were going. And we were seeing partnerships and adoption on a weekly basis, just like we still are. But I am going to be talking about how behind the scenes is where all the action has been happening for XRP, for gold, for all of these suppressed assets. You're starting to see the veil lifted slightly, get a little peek behind, and that's starting to be reflected in price action. And so we're going to have to watch this one closely, though. XRP moving last, moves the hardest, and XRP right now has been unhinged, right? Up to $1 earlier this year, July 13th, ruling from Judge Torres that XRP in and of itself is not a security. Fantastic. But then we get liquidated with the rest of the cryptocurrency space back down to 40 cents. We have since risen back up to the 50K level. Now we're at that 57 cent level. Love to see it. We tapped off of 589 essentially. That was just yesterday. And we're going to be watching XRP closely. Now, DXY has rallied. Remember, this is your weekly chart right now. We're on the weekly chart right now, folks. We topped out last year for your DXY back up to about 114, 115. Okay, we have been coming back down through the beginning of this year. And we've had a banking crisis that's caused this. We've had the worst crash in bonds that has caused this. The dollar remains a relatively clean shirt in the closet. And right now, as really, the situation's really deteriorate on the global economy stage, and then as this war picks up right now, we're seeing the dollar move sideways after rallying for the last couple months. Okay. But the bonds have had to go up because nobody wants them. That's why the bonds are back up to 5% for your 2-year and 4.8 back up above 5% there, first time since 2007 for your 10-year. And we're doing that because nobody wants this crap. As we warned about last year when the Fed said that they were going to offload their balance sheet, who's going to buy them? And right now you're seeing they're still issuing a whole bunch of new bonds to service their debt. And to get people to buy these things, it's sending the yields going crazy. So a 5% 10-year is what's correlated to your 30-year fixed mortgage in the United States of America. God bless us for having that 30-year program. Not many other countries do. And so we're actually blessed to have that. But what you're seeing right now is that 10-year back above 5%. What does that do to our mortgages? It takes us to 8%. From 2 and 3% mortgages up to 8%. Your median payment approaching $3,000 per month. It's really starting to break right now. Okay. Now we follow this oil chart, Brent crude oil, UK oil, $86 back down yesterday and back down here to start off the week. Remember, we're back on the weekly chart right now. Silver back up to start the week, $23 per ounce. Gold finished off last week above 2,000. Okay, cooling back off here this Monday. But remember, we have a historical move incoming for gold. This is my gold chart right now. We're watching this thing triple tap 2,000, above 2,000 all-time high, triple tap, getting ready for a historical move incoming at any point. Now, the tech stocks did rally today. This is NVIDIA, which you can see is already in a technical correction. And so that's a 20% down for NVIDIA from August highs, back down 20% through September. And now we're seeing it back down over the last 2 weeks, ever since Biden banned the chip sales to China, back to $400 for NVIDIA, starting the week off here with a little bit of a bounce. And that is what brought the S&P 500 up to start this week, right? Back up for the S&P 500. Okay. And remember, so we're down 10% right now this year. But if you look at that S&P 500 total correction, we've already done a 27% technical correction. A little bit of a rally right here, but this is a bear market. When you make a 20% move in the stocks, and in particular index funds like S&P 500, right? It takes a lot to move this thing, right? Moving 1% in a day is a big move. And now you've seen the volatility in this market is just massive, right? But we're already in a technical correction. Right? A little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a return to normal, but we've already cooled off another 11% off of these most recent highs back here in July this summer. Okay. Dow Jones, it's the same story. Technical correction has been met. Okay. And then now we're back down again to ever since this summer. So the second half of this year, we have the stocks falling back off here once again. Total cryptocurrency market cap back up. Now, it did a 73% rally so far. That's where we're at. Okay, pretty incredible for the overall cryptocurrency market cap, back above 1.249 trillion. Great. Now, last chart, your Bitcoin dominance back up. So this has been steadily increasing since last year. Last year, crypto got killed. Remember, Sam Bankman-Fried's sacrifice was in November of last year. Crypto gets killed. And ever since, we've seen that Bitcoin dominance grow. And this is because folks are getting out of the alts. As the exchanges go bust, everybody's freaking out that they're not going to have liquidity. And so they've been dumping altcoins. They've been dumping memes. They're not doing as much trading. They're just buying Bitcoin. And then maybe they have a few other favorites too, right? It's kind of been accumulate what you can this year. And folks are accumulating Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's, and a little bit of manipulation to back it too. It's been an incredible run up. Now, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in here tonight. Guys, we're going to get it popping here. I'm going to start to move quick now through the update. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. We're going to have an absolute pleasure here tonight. So cheers. Thank you, everyone, for coming by here. Appreciate you guys. Let's roll. So we're talking current events here to start. As spokesman for Netanyahu's office, Israel strongly rejects calls for a ceasefire. We want to change the reality in Gaza, and we will not go back to what it was before October 7th. Bold statements coming from Netanyahu and his office. We do not intend to stay in Gaza forever, but for a period until Hamas is eliminated. This is land for the taking. This is a move, a historical move that's being made right now. And we're watching this situation in the Middle East heat up right now rapidly, continuing to pray for peace. But we can confirm this report here that Saudi Arabia's military has gone into a state of high alert following deadly clashes with Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels, who also tried to fire a missile over the kingdom towards Israel. So what we have right now are Iran-backed rebels in Yemen and the surrounding countries, right, that are activated. They are attacking U.S. bases, and this has gone hot with Iran-backed rebels and groups around the Middle East. Now, in the Ukraine situation, it is really falling apart, and Zelensky is getting desperate. This is from Time magazine, and they're talking about Zelensky feels betrayed by his Western allies. His belief in Ukraine's ultimate victory over Russia worries some of his advisors. He deludes himself, a close aide says. We're out of options. We're not winning, but try telling that to him. Kim.com adds, it's over. And it appears, right, that some of this money's drying up. We finally just got a Speaker of the House, and the first thing that they're going to be doing right now is, looks like they're going to be sending about $14 billion, I think is what they're going to be trying to send over to Israel. And apparently they're removing $14 billion of the budget for the IRS. I'm going to show you guys that one in a second. But what's going to be interesting is it doesn't take much, and I cannot confirm this, right? This is an unconfirmed report that Iran is planning on closing the Strait of Hormuz, shut down all oil from the Persian Gulf. Oil tankers carry approximately 17 million barrels of oil each day through the strait, or 20 to 30% of the world's total consumption. So when you shut that down, you shut down a quarter to nearly a third of the total flow of oil tankers, right? Persian Gulf oil is shipped east to Asia, primarily to Japan, China, and India, and west to Europe and the United States. Closing the strait would hurt many countries that are enemies of Iran, especially the US and EU, so it would be a bold decision politically and strategically. So this is an unconfirmed report, but the reason why I'm sharing it here tonight is to remind everyone that this is still a potential, right? And all it takes is a little situation over there, and you're going to see the markets go crazy. I believe that they will be shutting down markets in the coming volatility that we're going to be experiencing. This war could lead to it, right? We understand that. The banking crisis is not over, and we're going to have to be watching this over the next year. We have a situation in the United States, internal chaos, along with trying to fund external chaos and operations and occupations, has put us in a very vulnerable position. Now, this is also not confirmed, but this U.S. Civil Defense News on Twitter here is sharing this update that his contacts in the Department of Defense say the White House is drafting an executive order to call for a new military draft, orders for males 18 to 26. Military service will be mandatory or go to jail. U.S. military must prepare for war. I cannot confirm that. That sounds pretty dramatic to me. I think it would be a stretch, but maybe Biden's going to offer student loan forgiveness if you're willing to sign up and go to war. Maybe that's the way that he'll get his student loan forgiveness through. I don't know, but I will say that from what I'm hearing in my sources as well, and the flight traffic that we've been watching, significant flight traffic already over there. We've already been positioning resources over there. And like I said, I'm praying right now that we come to a peace agreement here quickly. It looks like the United States has been sending significant amount of equipment over there. Now we're debating on how much money we're going to send over there. And let's listen in on Janet Yellen's comments. Supporting Israel and defending Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression are in America's core national security interests. So economic PhD never ran a business in her life. She's going to tell us, right, what is in America's core national security interests. Okay, sure. And is backed by bipartisan majorities in Congress and among the American people. Well, let's vote on it. Let's send it to vote in Congress. Well, actually, we're supposed to. We're mandated by Congress to do so, actually, which we haven't done since World War II. So every single war that we fought since World War II has not been declared. That's unconstitutional on just that premise right there. But nonetheless, supporting Israel and defending Ukraine. So we need to have money for both. This is what Janet Yellen is telling us, that we need to defend Israel. We need to send them more money. We need to send Ukraine more money. And how are we going to do that? I'm glad you asked. U.S. to borrow $1.5 trillion in debt this and next quarter after borrowing a massive $1 trillion last quarter. This is the point that I've been trying to make. I don't care what country you love. I don't care what religion, who you love, who you worship, or what kind of program you want to fund. We are broke. It's the inconvenient truth, the real inconvenient truth, that we need to accept as Americans. We, one, have been going to battle and funding wars and occupations without declaring constitutionally war, and that's not how we roll. And we need to rein this thing back in because we are broke, we are bust. And oh, by the way, the rest of the world is calling us on our BS by dumping our treasuries at the fastest pace in history. And so who's going to fund our debt is the problem. Now, as I just reported here, you look a little bit deeper into this situation from Bloomberg. U.S. cuts quarterly borrowing target to $776 billion. So don't worry, guys. We've cut back. We were going to borrow $852 billion. Net borrowing is what we were expected, what the estimate was. But now we're going to cut back, don't worry, only to $776 billion, which is still a record. And that's why we go back to the last one. We are set to borrow here $1.5 trillion this and next quarter, right? We're doing $776 billion coming up here for this next quarter. The Treasury Department cut its net borrowing estimate for the October through December quarter. That'd be Q4, right? Right there. And debt managers kept their estimate for Treasury's cash balance for the end of December at $750 billion. The new borrowing amount is somewhat smaller than many strategists forecast. JP Morgan Chase had penciled $800 billion with no change in the cash balance estimate. 10-year Treasury yields dipped slightly after Monday's release and were at 4.86% as of 3 o'clock New York time today. So that is the current situation on how much the United States is going to be borrowing. And as we've been talking about in our community, we have a corporation here, a DC corporation that does not represent the American people, right? We have bureaucrats and we have Janet at the helm of our Treasury Department with Jay Powell at the helm of the private central bankers. These are a bunch of people that, work for whoever's going to cut them the fattest check and work for their own interest when we come to the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell rug pulling the American economy. They don't care about the American people getting rug pulled. That's the bottom line right now. People assuming that Yellen issuing 2-year instead of 30-year treasuries was a mistake. It wasn't. There's a reason the U.S. was trying to sell as much short duration as possible. A forced liquidation is coming. They are forcing a liquidation right now. They are bringing more pain to the rest of the world. What am I talking about? Finance law breaks it down further. You shut down everything. March 2020 simulation events. 2, you cause massive inflation by printing $5 trillion. 3, you force all nations to go deeply into debt to save their economy. Look at the drastic measures that were taken worldwide after 2020. And then you pull liquidity away, causing a dollar shortage, i.e. why the DXY rallied all the way up to 114 for the DXY last year. It's because everybody was coming back to dollars. They needed dollars. And you watch nations collapse as they're forced to dump U.S. treasuries for cents on the dollar, for pennies on the dollar, right? And it's as if they don't care that we're about to get a credit downgrade, so nations dump U.S. treasuries. They've raised rates at the fastest pace in history, restrict swap lines causing dollar shortage, stage incident, dollar skyrockets, then you panic spread to the financial system. We still have that going on through the banking crisis. Then we have nations collapsing, seeing that in real time around the world. While we print trillions and buy your cheap debt, that is what ushers in the Great Reset. All done by design. And this is why I say that Janet no-telling Yellen isn't stupid. Jay Powell isn't stupid. And us begging him for forgiveness isn't going to get us that mercy that we're begging for, right? We're begging for him to drop rates, maybe if he has to turn back on the money printer, because most folks don't even understand what inflation is, right? And this is the problem. Folks have been fed a lie. They have invested their retirement savings in a lie, and that would be the traditional 60-40 portfolio. I just put out another video tonight. I got another one dropping tomorrow morning, and I am really worried about folks with their retirement savings. You got 401k programs here in the United States. You have programs out in your country, wherever you guys are tuning in here tonight, right? And then we have folks like myself that are just trying to build up my retirement. I'm trying to make enough money that I have enough disposable income to actually put into a retirement account, right? So we try to get to that point, And then we try to figure out what the heck can we do with this? And the most difficult problem right now facing retirees, boomers and older, or even folks that are younger, right? And you look at the average, 401k, it is not going to be enough. And we're going to need to see some significant gains to make it enough for us to have a retirement that's worth living for, right? The problem is traditional Wall Street keeps you in their program because they've bought off the bureaucracy beast, the SEC and the gang. This is why you are, what's your options? You invest in the company 401k, you don't get to manage it. They have Morgan Stanley manage it or somebody else, an equivalent, right? And once a year, the money manager shows up, he brings you some donuts and tells you that your portfolio's doing great and that you should up your contribution to it because he's going to make you an extra, percent next year. Instead of making you 6% next year, he's going to make you 7% on your money. And you should just be happy slappy and you should cut them more of your paycheck that you work your butt off for your whole life for. You should cut them more of your check, because he's going to make you an extra 2% next year. This is what Wall Street's been running on. This is the type of success that, has been acceptable. The 60-40 portfolio had its third worst year ever. And now when you can't find safety in bonds, where do you go? You better figure out a new program there. The collapse in treasury bonds now ranks amongst the worst market crashes in history. I don't clickbait you. Well, maybe we try to get you to watch our videos. It's effective. It's ethical. I call it ethical clickbait because when I put it up in a title, when I put it up in a thumbnail, I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to back it up with real data. This isn't me just pulling this out of my butt. What we have right now is the worst year for bonds ever, last year. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to accept that. And your financial advisor doesn't want you to know that. Half of America doesn't even know what their 401k's in. And this crash for bonds has continued into this year, making it the worst market crash in history. Well, hold up. I thought we were just going to have a good old happy slappy time with Bidenomics and wokeonomics and Green New Deal and 15-minute city. And I don't need to own nothing. I get to be happy. And we have a bunch of new bonds that are about to be issued. You see that we're about to go into 1.5 trillion for borrowing in the Q3 and Q4 is the expectations here. After we just borrowed another record 1 trillion, and we're on pace to pay $1 trillion in interest on our debt, right? And you take a 10% haircut, 20% haircut last year. Let me know in the comments down below if you're willing to. I'd be curious. How's your 401k doing? Let me know. How did the 401k perform last year? How is it on track to perform this year? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to know too, do you even know what your 401k is invested in? Because that's the first beginning. That's the start, right? Is we need to pull up and we need to have accountability and we need to be armed with the education, resources, and the right questions to take to our financial advisors. And I'll tell you why this is so important. I got another one here from Bloomberg for you guys. Check this one out. Check this one out. Wall Street raked in $1.7 billion in fees from New York City pensions last year. This is the Wall Street program. Your pension's safe with them, right? And many people that work for the government or a state, municipality, they have these pension programs. That's going to be a big crisis, and that's already starting to break. Because it's not just Bank of America that has 100 trillion of, not 100 trillion, 100 billion, 131 billion to be exact, of unrealized losses on their bonds. You have state and local government pensions that have a lot of unrealized losses on their bonds as well. That's a problem. And it's a problem because these financial advisors are taking record fees and they're not protecting you. See, I'm not here to be your financial advisor. I'm not here to manage anybody's money. And disclaimer, I'm not going to trade for you either. If you think I'm messaging you, asking you to trade, that is not me. There's many impersonators, many scammers. We're blocking and reporting them as fast as possible. And I am no longer DMing anybody on social media. If you want to reach me, it's at my website, zachrector.com or Patreon Discord. That's it. You cannot reach me on social media anymore. I have to do that for safety reasons. There are so many scammers out there. I'm not going to trade for you. I'm not going to be your financial advisor. I'm not going to manage money for you. Now, if you want to learn about our deals, you know where to find us. Right now, It's been funny. Over the last year, the amount of financial advisors that have actually reached out to me and they tell me that they watch my show. And I'm here to work with them. There's some good ones. It's like any one of these industries or sectors, right? Not all the people are bad. Not every real estate agent is bad. Are there some scummy ones? Yes. Same thing here. Now, it's been easy going for everybody. Not just the financial advisors, the real estate brokers, and everybody in business. Everybody was winning. Everybody got a participation trophy while we had the cheapest rates in the history of mankind. We had the cheapest rates in the history of mankind. Everybody got to win. Now, what are we doing? What happened to the 401ks last year? The amount of stories that I've received of folks that took 10 to 20% haircuts last year. Family members, friends, people within my Discord, others out in our community that have messaged me. Send me your message on zachrector.com. If you guys want to get in touch with me and let me know your story, if you have questions, get in touch with me over there. Because I want to have these conversations with you together. Right now, we need to understand every single asset class. We need to understand where we have our 401k retirement allocated. What can we do to maximize that opportunity? I don't advise anybody on anything, and I'm not here to tell anybody to pull your 401k out. No, never, ever do I say that. I actually believe in matching. You know, you got these programs where you put in, they match. That's fine. The only problem that I have with the 401k and the stipulations there is the limitations. It's not the most tax-favored way to invest, and what you can invest in is limited. It is still an option, though, that allows you to defer some of the taxes, and it does give you some benefits. And if you are going to hold bonds, if you are going to hold some equities, well, you could put it in a Roth IRA that's self-directed, and you pay the taxes up front, and then you get to build that. The gains and the wealth that you build from there is tax-free. That's cool. So, self-directed. And I like being in control. But I spend hours every day in this field doing these deals, researching the companies and the investments that I'm going to be making, right? And working in my businesses, which is the other aspect of my investments where I have complete control in. Now, this is why I say we get a program with them. You got a company 401k, you match it, they match it, that's great. We build that up and you have select investments. What the good news is that there's more alternatives that are now presenting themselves for you to invest your 401k into gold. You can use my affiliates if you want to do that, right? You move just a portion of your 401k over to precious metals as a hedge, not all of it. We don't dump all of our 401k for precious metals. We don't dump all of it for XRP. But the alternatives that are presenting themselves, and what are some of the other ones? I Trust Cap. There's a couple others that do 401ks for crypto. I don't even have affiliate links for any of those. But that's the alternatives that I want for us, that I want for you, is the ability to invest in private equity deals like a Link2's offering, right? They're democratizing private equity. These are the deals that folks haven't been able to invest in. And if Gary Gensler had his way, you wouldn't be able to invest in private equity unless you had a net worth of $10 million to be an accredited investor. This is criminal. And they want you to stay poor. And they don't care that your 401k is getting killed. They don't care that American households lost the most amount of money last year out of any country. Now, you would argue that we have the most to lose. We have the most wealth. Well, we have a significant amount of wealth. We do have a lot to lose. True. But that hurts. When we acknowledge the fact that we just had the most amount of money printing in history, we printed $5 trillion, yet last year, American households lost $5.9 trillion, almost $6 trillion. That math ain't mathin'. If inflation came in, asset prices went up, I thought we were supposed to get richer. And only the rich did get richer. And that is the model with inflation, is though those who own assets will continue to get richer and build more wealth. Those that want to get into the game as a little millennial trying to buy his first house are getting killed right now. But hey, you'll own nothing and be happy. That's fine right now for me right now. In many markets around the country, it's way cheaper to rent than it is to buy. Is that part of the own nothing, be happy plan? Probably. I would say it is. And that's fine for me. Where I live, that's fine. That's one deal. Personal house, not going to stop us. It's a completely separate deal from the investment portfolio for the real estate asset class. Then when I move into equities, as you guys know with me, I don't do public equities. I'm not interested. Private equities exclusive. And I'm not interested in a lot of it. It's just like with crypto. I don't do dozens and dozens of crypto. I have looked over many deals in private equity. I've looked over many deals in the public market right now. And I'm very picky. And I like having control. And I laugh because I was just reading an article about Bill Gates, about how he made like 1,500% off one of his investments in a company that I won't name, but you guys can fill in the dots. And he made, it was over, I don't think it was 10,000%, but it was like a few %1,000. And I was laughing because this is why we are going to stay poor and why we will never achieve, the American dream will be without reach, let alone generational wealth being out of reach, is because we're trying to get 7% with our money manager that we talk to once a year. He brings us some donuts and shills us some other crap. Oh, we got a new index fund. Oh, I got a new fund for you. He just wants you to move the money so he can make his commission, right? And right now, XRP drops a 5 spot because of your ethical clickbait titles. I'm catching some Z's instead of Z's again. XRP, I appreciate you. I know it's already late, but we're going to keep it rocking and rolling here. I got some more to cover here still. This is why we won't achieve that wealth, is because they're keeping us out through the regulations and the laws. But then we're supposed to be happy that we're making 6 and 7% on our money. Meanwhile, the big hitters only seek 1,000. They're seeking 10 baggers, right? 10x, right? 1,000% plus. They're seeking 10 and 100 baggers, 10 to 100 times, while we're seeking 6%. And inflation through the CPI lie is at 3.7%. That's the program that we're supposed to be cheering on right now. Oh yeah, my guy told me that I made 8% last year. These guys, these big hitters are laughing at us peasants, right? And then they're arming their buddies at the SEC and saying, yes, keep the little guys down, raise accreditation to 10 million. Yeah, and then the rest of the agenda that you're seeing in full force to keep us out. The beautiful thing right now is we're seeing the platforms present themselves that are allowing us, democratizing private equity, allowing us to get access to alternatives, invest in your 401k in crypto, invest in your 401k in private equity, precious metals, real estate. This is what I love to see. Right now, we find ourselves, we need to be able to do due diligence if we want to be able to hold our financial advisors accountable. And as I showed you guys right here, New York pensions just paid $1.7 billion in fees last year, a roughly $150 million increase from the prior year. Fees paid by the city's 5 pensions rose 10% faster than the growth rate of the assets. Guys, this is the exact point that I'm making. These guys are shilling you, and their fees are rising 10%, rose 10% faster than the growth rate of the assets. And the assets were probably down. If we had to market those bonds, I wonder where we'd be at. This is not good. The value of the funds for the city's police officers, firefighters, teachers, civil service employees, and school district personnel rose about 6% to $253 billion for the fiscal year ending June 30th. So that's what I mean. The pension funds were up 6%. They report that back. And we're supposed to be happy with that. The New York City police officers, firefighters, teachers, civil service employees, and school district personnel are supposed to be happy with that, right? And you were. When inflation was 2%, you're making 6 to 8%, 5 to 6 on a bad year, 8 to 10% on a good year. All is well. White picket fence American dream. And interest rates were at sub 5%. Good days were had. We had a barbecue. We were still eating good, right? And now we see the whole thing come crashing down while the Wall Street and the top 1% have been making more money than they have in history. This is why we call it the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And we got to get on the right side of this transfer, right? That's the whole point of what we're talking about here tonight. What we're watching right here with Michael Gayed. You really think it's impossible for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 to go round trip and break the October lows just because of stocks like Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Tesla? You do realize the valuation metrics are absurd, right? Apple with a price to earnings of 28, Nvidia with a PE of 98, Amazon with a PE of 67, and Tesla with a price to earnings of 66. Why in the world is someone called a doomer or a perma-bear when everything internally in the market is saying the same thing? How is it that hope is not a strategy when a select number of large cap stocks have had significant PE expansion as we enter a potential credit crisis? The masses don't see the writing on the wall. The masses don't know where to look, and the masses don't even know, 50% of them, what their 401k is invested in. And then we allow, and the mainstream media only allows the talking head Wall Street pundits to shill us on Fox Business, on CNBC, on all of the other mainstream news sources, right? And we're supposed to cheer on the strength of our stock market when we understand that it's been that magnificent seven that have kept the thing propped up this whole time. What is the smart money doing? The smart money's been getting out, i.e. Jamie Dimon selling JP Morgan Chase for the first time since he took over the helm 17 years ago. Go figure. Along with all the other bank CEOs selling off or dipping and leaving, right? Along with all of some of the biggest companies in the world, their CEOs stepping down and selling off massive amounts of stock as well, including Nvidia CEO. Absolutely. And the smart money has been selling off, and where are they going? Well, we're noticing a trend, and one would speculate that maybe some of this would be some smart institutional money. 882,000 ounces drained from the COMEX silver vaults today. Absolutely love to see it. Now, is some smart money going to the Zahao ledger? Well, you guys let me know in the comments down below as we transition into cryptocurrency here, guys. BitTrue has opened its XRP to Zahao Mint. I gave it a go with a small amount of XRP, but I generally want to hold my XRP. This is from Bill Morgan. So he did a little burn to mint. Zahao, that's the ZA token. They did change it from XRP Plus. Little rebrand to the ZA token, XAH, Zahao Ledger. They called it a sidechain ledger, which was a mistake because it's not a sidechain at all. The only way that it's connected to the XRP ledger is through this burn to mint bridge, we could call it. That feature, that capability was the only connection to the XRP ledger, which does eventually expire. But we were expecting BitTrue and others to come along, and GateHub is getting a significant amount of the Zahao tokens as well. And BitTrue is one of the first here to step up, and they're going to be offering your ability, because you guys know who have been watching me cover this for a while. When we first started covering this, the developers were saying that they weren't going to create the function for us to do burn to mint. So for those of you who don't know, the Zahao smart contract sidechain is basically the hooks sidechain. There was developers that are developing and validators on the XRP ledger that were trying to get hooks to mainnet. They weren't able to. And so now they've decided to launch a sidechain or another blockchain completely, essentially. And it's essentially a fork of the XRP ledger. And they created this burn to mint function where you could burn one XRP and receive some Zahao tokens in return. And what we're going to be seeing here is BitTrue is the first here that's giving you the API, the interface essentially on their exchange to just hit that burn to mint function, and then it is done. Because the developers who were working on the Zahao ledger were saying that they weren't going to make the capability for the regular person to actually do burn to mint, because they didn't want us crazy speculators in the XRP community to come on over to the sidechain. They didn't want us to speculate. They didn't want us to have the burn to mint capabilities. But as always, these exchanges want to make a little money, don't they? And so BitTrue steps up to the table here, and they create this burn to mint function for the Zahao ledger. So it is there available if you guys want to go play on it. Really, this probably should only be done if you are a developer and you want to play with XRP ledger smart contracts, which I would really encourage you to do so. If you are a developer, if you know how to work with these things, I really encourage you to go, not necessarily burn to mint, but just go over to the Zahao ledger and start to work, because eventually I believe that we will get hooks, we will get smart contracts brought back to the XRP ledger main chain. I think that that's going to be done after we kind of build up the XRP ledger infrastructure, or it might not really be done in a major way, but we will just have ultimate settlement taking place on the XRP ledger. Smart contracts will be happening on other side chains. And we're seeing the EVM smart contract side chain right now as well, which we love to see this. This is additional utility coming to the XRP ledger. And with the EVM side chain, they're using the XRP token as a settlement token. There's no XRP plus, there's no Zahao token. There is just simply XRP on the EVM side chain for settlement, i.e. settle any smart contract that's EVM, come settle it on the XRP ledger. That's what this is. So instead of paying $100 in gas fees to receive my NFTs that I received for free, but I had to go pay $100 in Ethereum gas fees, instead we'd be able to come settle that on the XRP ledger. And now we do have NFTs on the XRP ledger as well. AMM's coming. And as I said, I ran up a session yesterday with Vet and some other XRP validators and developers as well. And it was a great session talking about all of the amendments, everything that's happening right now on the ledger. And the bottom line is, the conclusion, we're in a fantastic spot with additional utility coming to the XRP ledger, along with the legal clarity. It's the best of both worlds. It puts us in a very unique spot amongst the rest of the cryptocurrency space. Now, why am I missing? I think I thought I was missing. Okay. Yeah, I'm missing one of my posts. That's all right. Let's show you guys this real quick. Crypto Insight UK, XRP blast off in T minus 15 days. How crazy. I checked to see how many people are in the chat. We have 589 viewers in the chat, right as we talk about XRP blast off. You don't say. T minus 15 days, Crypto Insight UK. That's our brother Will. Huge shout out. This tweet is a little more complex to explain, but stay with me. I think you'll like it. The first chart is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Now, I'm gonna actually give a toast to Will. This sounds good. I'm gonna take a sip of bourbon as we break this down. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We're about to get into some Q&A too, by the way, so drop your comments down below. The vertical red line shows when the SEC decided to pick winners and losers in the space, deeming XRP an unregistered security and suing Ripple and their executives. Okay, he says, what do you notice? Firstly, XRP takes a big hit in price action directly following the lawsuit announcement, falling roughly 68% in 8 days, whilst Bitcoin rallied 94% and Ethereum rallied 120% in 20 days. So isn't that interesting, right? Right after that XRP lawsuit, falling roughly 68% in 8 days, while Bitcoin rallies 94% and Ethereum rallies 120%. Gee, I wonder how much money the insiders made off of that one. Secondly, that XRP was maybe going to break out more violently both to Bitcoin and Ethereum before the barricade was slammed in its path. The verticality of XRP's move above certainly begs the question, at least. Now let's zoom forward to January 6, 2022. The last time Bitcoin pushed up to 35,000, as it has recently, 111%, the height of its 2017 high. Ethereum was at 1,100, just 30% away from its all-time high. XRP was 1,787% away from its all-time high. I'll show you guys this chart real quick. 1,187% from all-time high. Okay. Now, when we finish off, he says, imagine where we could have been had we not been held back by the lawsuit. Let's say we lead the charge. It looked like it was possible from our first move. Also, historical data shows that was also possible. $5, $10, it's impossible to know. What I do know, though, is now Bitcoin is at 35,000 again on its way up in a potential new cycle. Ethereum is at 1,800 following the suit. They are sitting between 30 to 75% above the height of their 2017 top. Imagine if now is the time for XRP to lead the charge. Ooh, how about a little bit of XRP dominance? XRP is specifically not a security. The SEC drops charges against the executives. There isn't much holding it back. Let's announce that Uphold partnership and fire up a little bit more liquidity, i.e. US Nexus to institutions wanting XRP. Let's have a good time. Is it time for XRP to do something monumental? I believe it is. Coming soon. Coming soon to a theater near you. Can we see XRP catch up to where it should be? We'd be looking at the $410 to $550 range to be sitting in a similar spot to Bitcoin and Ethereum as we speak. Don't let anyone tell you it's not possible. It's hard to fathom, but the maths and the facts are there. Shout out to our UK friends, the maths, plural. First super chat from XRP Nuss, Canadian 2-spot. Hey, Zach, do you have any Iraqi dinar? I have many in the community. I have many friends that do. I do not own any Iraqi dinar or any other foreign currencies. I think I have a couple other, I've been to a couple other countries and I have like a few dollar bill, a few bills from some of those countries, but no, I don't own any foreign currencies, only precious metals in US dollars and the future reserve currency XRP. Now, with what Will is saying right here about XRP, this is the breakout that is imminent. What we are seeing right now, though, is a fake out. You know that I don't agree with the breakout currently being underway, but right now, I'd be happy to be wrong. That's the thing, is I'm not trading this thing. I'm loaded up. So if this is the next bull run, then let's have a good time. Let's, have ourselves a good time here and let's enjoy this ride. I know what I'm going to do with my exit strategy for taking profits. And I know what I'm going to do with my reallocation for these said assets that are, suppressed, are going somewhere different. And upon the arrival of these prices that we have predictions for, I know what I'm going to be doing. Do you know what you're going to be doing at a $5 and a $10 XRP? If you don't believe the XRP can go to $5 or $10, good luck. God bless. Let me know how the program works out. Okay? It's very simple. We find ourselves in a unique spot with full legal clarity. We find ourselves waiting for regulatory clarity on how we can use these assets without creating a security, right? That's kind of the real final piece of this, is getting the clarity on how to use these technologies without creating a security. Or if you are going to create a security or an issue, an investment contract securities offering, just being able to do so and apply with the SEC. And like with the spot ETFs right now, we need to streamline this process. There's no reason why we shouldn't have a Bitcoin ETF already approved, a spot one. We have a futures one. Why don't we have a spot? And why don't we have an XRP spot ETF? Let's get it done. There's no reason why we can't. Now, nobody has tried to issue or apply for an XRP spot ETF yet, but I believe that it will be coming soon. And I would even suspect that a company like Grayscale could be one that could try to issue an XRP ETF, right? Convert their existing Bitcoin to a spot Bitcoin ETF. Why couldn't they do that with XRP as well? And I know that they stopped offering their XRP fund. I don't know if they still hold those assets or not. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments down below if Grayscale still owns that XRP that they had in their XRP fund. It was one of their biggest funds that they had until the lawsuit, and then they ended up dropping it. But there's nothing holding back a Grayscale from launching an XRP ETF or any of these other Wall Street firms or Ripple or, you name it. We have full clarity. There's no reason why we can't have a spot ETF, which would be a security. And the securities that are going to be issued that are derivatives of the underlying crypto digital assets is going to bring in more demand for the underlying assets. And you can see when the gold ETFs got approved, what it did to gold. You can see that with every other asset and commodity, when you allow these derivatives to come in, the price does increase significantly on these as folks want to get exposure to these alternatives. And as I was ranting about earlier with the 401ks, if you only have the ability to invest in an ETF to get exposure to Bitcoin or XRP, or maybe for our grandma, grandpa, the best solution is going to be having them just tell their financial advisor, hey, JP Morgan, hey, Morgan Stanley, hey, Charles Schwab, let's load up on the XRP ETF and let's get some exposure. I've been watching some crazy YouTubers that tell me that XRP is going to do something. I've been doing a little bit of research, and now I find out that XRP is actually set to solve $1 trillion problems. I've done some research, and I realized that a crappy blockchain like Bitcoin has settled $100 trillion of value since its inception, and we're set to get a spot ETF on that, plus additional spot ETFs on the other assets to follow. I want to ride this wave up. Let's get some exposure. And that's the point that I wanted to add to this, is that we are seeing right now, Ripple gets the 1 billion XRP every single month released from escrow. We understand that very clearly. But then we're seeing that about 700 to 800 billion of that, basically 75%, gets returned to escrow. What happens when they do that is it gets time locked again for 55 months. That's how the escrow feature works. When you send it back to escrow, it locks it back up for another 55 months. So it's locked for another 4 or 5 years, right? Now, this is what we've been watching Ripple do for the last 2 years, is that they return 70, 80% of it back to escrow. They keep 200 to 300 million. And then every month they've been selling and distributing XRP to their on-demand liquidity partners exclusively. That is the only sales of XRP that have been done by Ripple that we know of over the last 2 years is exclusively to on-demand liquidity institutions. And that's all been over the counter. And in turn, that's why XRP price hasn't moved. All of the adoption, and maybe there's been no adoption. There's some haters in the comments that'll say that XRP is not going to all-time high and there's no adoption happening behind the scenes. Okay, good luck. Let me know how that program works out. Because what we're seeing right now is 5 central banks and governments that have gone live with XRPL CBDCs right now. 5 that haven't been announced, 20 plus conversations. Last time I checked my math, that's 30 plus governments, central banks that are in conversations or live pilots or live projects on the XRPL CBDC platform and or conversations with Ripple. Pretty significant. On top of that, we know that we've already gone live with 300 plus banks and institutions. Plus, we now have legal clarity in the US. Plus, we also have additional utilities and amendments that are coming to the XRP ledger that we didn't have, that the rest of the space had. And look at the DeFi, look at the Web3, and look at this whole space. It's seeking sustainability and reliability. That's what the XRP ledger offers, along with its efficiency that is not really comparable to most of these other blockchains. You see, there are some, the programs are struggling. Maybe the fees are cheap, maybe it's relatively quick, but then it goes down once a month. Cough, cough, Solana, right? That's what we're seeing, is the program's not working out. We have Ethereum 2.0, complete flop. We have Bitcoin, Lightning Network, decentralized, backdoor. The whole thing basically is a failure. That's a problem. And the payment, the peer-to-peer cash, as it was said in the Bitcoin white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto, has not been efficient, has been expensive, but they've still settled $100 trillion of value. Respect. Now let's move that over and let's grow out this internet of value on a ledger that actually works like XRP, one with legal clarity like XRP, and one with a company like Ripple that is comparable to a IMF or a central bank, because it is acting as a righteous custodian and treasurer of the reserve currency known as XRP, of this new digital financial system that's being created in real time. So the system's being created, deals are happening behind the scenes, but we're frustrated because XRP price hasn't moved. Well, we were told XRP rises after the crash. XRP rises from the ashes. The phoenix rises from the ashes. We were told that many people wouldn't make it to the dance. Sure enough, we have good people that are selling out of XRP right now because they're coming through financial hardship and because they're losing faith. That's unfortunate. I try to do my part. I'm not going to be able to convince everybody, but I've been adding to my positions. That's all I've been doing. And with other cryptocurrencies, I found a few that interest me, that I've picked up a little position, but I don't treat any of them as reserve currencies. XRP is the only currency that I treat as a reserve currency. Along with silver, I treat as a reserve. And then I have US dollars, but I don't even treat that as a reserve. I treat that as a tool. I treat that as a settlement tool for settling transactions in today's economy. And I have to pay my taxes, I guess. And I've been dropping some content lately on taxes. We discussed the basics of how the rich avoid taxes last Saturday in our Discord weekly call. And I'm getting ready to hold a tactical wealth conversation this coming Saturday on a little bit more advanced. We'll be talking trusts, we'll be talking entities, LLCs, you name it, different tax mitigation plans that we can put together with our kind of wealth infrastructure. That's going to be coming up this Saturday. If you're looking to get tapped in, that's at my website, ZachRector.com, and you sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. Right now, we're running a special through the end of the year where if you pay for a full year on Patreon, you're going to save 13% on your membership fees. That'll be running through the end of the year, so take advantage of that. And also talk to your tax professional about potentially writing off the cost of your Patreon membership as a legitimate business expense, as we're giving you educational content on business investments. And then we have a family over there of like-minded individuals to help you ride out the storm and have real connections with. We already have 3 Discord meetups planned for next year, additional events coming on the way. And I'm just so excited with what we're building out as we're on the precipice of the next bull run for me and my community, locked in, focused, and in building mode. And I cannot wait to see how I understand we're going to grow even faster than we are right now over the next 2 years, because this bull run is going to bring in, potentially 1 billion new users to DLT technology. So that's going to be very significant. And the whole back end of the financial system's moving to DLT as well. And the regulations get set up and the frameworks get completed. It looks like the UK wants to complete crypto regulations by next year. So they're still giving themselves time. But to bring the point home, I wanted to share this one right here from Chad Steingraber, which there's no way that that's this dude's real name. Chad Steingraber. That's just an unbelievable name. Huge shout out to Chad. Thailand's second largest bank has acquired a local crypto exchange. Indeed, Kazakhstan Bank, known as K-Bank, has acquired 97% of shares in the country's Saitang Corporation. The game is on. And this is the point that I was trying to make with the Uphold announcement. When I talked with Simon McLaughlin, the CEO of Uphold, 3 months ago, and we confirmed what they were doing with Uphold, and we confirmed that they are offering equities already outside of the U.S., and they're looking to offer equities inside of the U.S. as well, because they acquired a broker-dealer. They've already gone through FINRA, and they're going to be able to offer equities on their platform as well. What's happening right now is you have old banks that are acquiring new, exchanges, new crypto companies. And that's how they're moving into the DLT space. That's instead of trying to build from the ground up and, let's hire some developers and let's, start to test some things out. It's like, no, we got money. Let's make an investment right now. And let's go buy 90% of the shares in this country's Saitang Corporation. And they buy out. This is the second largest bank has acquired a local crypto exchange. Indeed. Now, we're going to see more of this. This is going to be one of the biggest times for M&A, mergers and acquisitions, within the financial banking world. And you're going to have crypto companies like Ripple that are potentially going to be buying out others. And we've already seen them make a couple acquisitions. They made the Medico acquisition. They backed out of the Fortress Trust acquisition. They said, okay, hold up. This is not a good deal. And this is the due diligence that I'm talking about. When we go to invest in equities, private equities, especially when we go to invest in real estate, cryptocurrencies, any deal that we're going to do, we need to be doing our due diligence, just like Ripple did with the Fortress Trust acquisition. They were going to bail them out. They were going to go acquire that company. And then they looked at the books and said, okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. We're going to be passing on this one. That's a good thing. Now, with the Medico acquisition, they acquired the infrastructure for custody. With the partnership with Uphold, they're firing up additional liquidity, and Uphold is becoming one of the leaders in the space for sourcing liquidity as a prime broker, sourcing their liquidity from 30 different exchanges. Sourcing some of the best liquidity in the world. They're all in on XRP. You know how big of a deal that's going to be. And I'm predicting right now that when the AMM comes out for the XRPL, you're going to have the ability to delegate any one of your, XRP, or, if you have the XRP USDT pair, you'd be able to delegate USDT as well, or XRP Bitcoin pair, you could delegate Bitcoin as well. You're going to be able to delegate your assets through Uphold by just one click of a button. It's going to be so simple. Earn 5% on your XRP, and it's going to give you the ability to delegate into the liquidity pool and make your 5%, right? It's going to be coming. And then to add to that, as I said, they're giving folks the ability to custody their stocks there too. How does this compete with the traditional banking model where you have to go into the bank to, be able to, conduct your business because they want to see you in person, you check your ID. And meanwhile, we have the new world digital banking being unleashed. And what the old guard is doing, the old guard that's smart and wants to stay around and be relevant, is they're not wasting time. They're just going out and buying other exchanges. And we're going to see more of this. And so right now, remain strong, folks. We're seeing XRP Bitcoin pump. We'll see if this lasts. I want to answer your Q&A, though, while we're here. And while I sip and finish my adult beverage, I want to say a huge shout out to Deborah. Thank you, Deborah, for the super chat. Absolute pleasure here. Let me take some Q&A right now as we watch this thing. And let me pull up the charts. So Bitcoin's been hanging out at 34K basically since we rallied last week, right? 34 to 35K. XRP, same thing, 589. What did we do there? We went up to, about 589. Yeah, that was just 1 week ago. When Bitcoin carried up the whole space, XRP followed along. XRP's been hanging sideways here, about 58 cents. Right now we're at 57.4. Okay. Bitcoin, 34,000, hanging out sideways here. We'll be watching this one. Oh boy, look at that, Deborah. That's a big one. A big fitty spot. Deborah, I appreciate the love and the support. Thank you so much, Deborah. If you guys haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me if you appreciate our content. If you appreciate listening to my hour-long rants on the live show, I appreciate you. Let's enjoy our adult beverage. My ice has melted. I appreciate you, Station C4. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate you guys. We're about to enter the halving territory. Yeah. And that's why I believe that the market does enter the next bull run by next year, for sure. For sure. I'm calling the bluff. I don't think this is it. Have we bottomed out, though? I think that's a coin flip to me, but I'm leaning towards we have bottomed out. I don't think that we necessarily go back below 15K. What I'm interested to see is another back test to like the low 20s, 20K level. But if I'm wrong, my bags are packed. I'm ready to see this thing go. And I know right now that XRP will lead the way. This next bull run, XRP will lead the way without a doubt. Aunt Lynn asked, with only 21 million Bitcoin, don't we stand the risk of institutions over leveraging it with a lot of paper derivatives? Exactly, Aunt Lynn. And that is one of the reasons why folks say that that's actually going to push the price of Bitcoin up, is because to have a legitimate spot Bitcoin ETF, you're going to need to show backing. And that's what we need. This is what I've been talking about with the stablecoins earlier and with these spot ETFs, with all these ETFs, right? It's one thing to have some derivatives, right, to allow folks to get some exposure. Unfortunately, these derivatives have been used as tools for manipulation. That's the problem. Crypto, appreciate you from Germany. Thank you for the 2 spot, brother. Dex, appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. XRP will always be under Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, XRP does. The fundamentals are actually different. The assets have been correlated, but there's the potential for them to break away at some point. Absolutely. XRP has pumped harder than Bitcoin in the past. And so if we get set free, I do think that XRP will outperform Bitcoin this next bull run. Will it overtake it to the number one spot? It potentially could, maybe not this bull run, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it did it this bull run, to be honest. I do agree that the market never experienced utility. It's all hype. Absolutely. And that's the problem with Bitcoin is where's the utility, right? Sending an inefficient and slow, expensive payment, storing it as a store of value. The utility is lacking. Which island am I buying? That's a great question. We're going to be looking at some real estate for sure. Right now, I know we've been talking in our Discord group about some fun stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I'm telling all the Discord group that I'm expecting them to buy the yachts. I'm expecting them to buy the PJs, the helicopters. I don't know if I'm going to ride any helicopters, though. I'm kind of scared of helicopters now after Kobe, to be honest. I kind of joke, but kind of not. For me, I want to buy some significant farmland. I'd like to do some farmland just for my personal space. But when it comes to investments, absolutely looking at jurisdictions outside the United States is definitely on the radar. Not just for tax advantages, but also for to enjoy life. That's why I'm looking really at some of these other jurisdictions and making investments over there, you know. And so, yeah, we've been talking about some fun stuff in our Discord group. Could you tell me about Lobster, how we will be able to exchange? So the Lobster wallet is just that. It's a wallet that allows you to access the Stellar DEX. So XLM, the Stellar network, has a decentralized exchange built into it just like XRP because it's a fork of XRP. Jed McCaleb wasn't very creative. He just forked the XRP ledger, created his own token, proceeded to dump all 9 billion or so of his XRP tokens and created an exact fork. And if you watch the Stellar developments that are taking place right now, many of them are actually copies of what they're trying to issue on the XRPL. So I believe that the Stellar DEX just got AMM actually. From what I hear from the developers, it's not as advanced, it's not as good as the XRPL AMM is going to be, but we'll be watching that development. And with Stellar, the Lobster wallet is similar to the Zum wallet, and it's a wallet that allows you to store your XLM and your tokens that are on the XLM, Stellar network. There's been many issued assets on the Stellar network. I caution, buyer beware. Do your due diligence. If it sounds silly, take a look. There's a lot of silliness on the XLM Stellar network. And I was one of the first to call out those scams when those scams got so popular with the Lobster wallets. I have one of the most, I believe I have the most viewed deep dives on XLM, actually, funny enough. And then I actually I called out the Lobster wallet scams from the very beginning as well. That was an easy one to see. What was happening, and the same thing was happening on the XRP ledger, is the community during the last bull run figured out, wow, I can launch tokens on Ethereum through the ERC20 Ethereum virtual machine, or I can launch them on XRPL, I can launch them on XLM, and what they did is there was a bunch of scammers that came into the XRP and the XLM community, and they basically created a PSYOP around issued assets on XLM. And so there was this whole narrative of how the stock market's going to move to XLM. Well, okay, hold up. What does that mean? Okay, you can issue whatever the hell you want on Stellar and on XRP. You can issue securities, you can issue equities, you can issue tokens that represent real estate, you can issue tokens that represent gold, you can issue tokens that represent nothing. I could make the Zach token tomorrow. Okay, what is it backed by? Well, it's a derivative of whatever I'm telling you it's a derivative of in this case. Right? And there's already tokens on the XRP ledger that are supposed to be backed by gold. There's tokens on the XLM ledger that are supposed to be backed by all sorts of crap. And that's just it. Crap. And there was actually a blockchain analyst that did, forensic analysis on finding these issuers, finding who was putting out all these scams. And it was really unfortunate because they psyop the community into thinking that all these issued assets on the XLM network were going to be like the new thing. Like this was the new stock market, and you could get access to, there was a bunch of tokens that were like the existing stock market was starting to get rolled over. So you would see Nike on the XLM network. You would see Apple on the XLM network. There was no backing of said companies by that token. There was nothing behind that token besides a lie. But they co-opt all these people that were in our community. This is why I was one of the first to put out the warnings, because I saw it coming and I knew our community was going to be affected. Is because folks were tying this all together with this conspiracy, which parts of it were real. That's the best part of every lie, right? Is some parts of it are actually true. Is you had these executive orders that were written by Trump for seizing assets of those who basically did crimes against humanity, did all sorts of other things. And so the story, the pitch was all of these assets are being, basically these companies are being bankrupt. These assets are being taken back from the cabal, and they're being issued on the Stellar network. And so you need to you need to trade your XLM, which I think is actually a nice token. I own XLM. It's my number 2. Trade your XLM for these issued assets that were issued by a bunch of scamsters that had no backing. Now, when I did this, I really pissed off some of those shills. Some of those shills were very mad at me that I did this, but I had to do it to protect my community. I don't care. I'm so far past caring what are these little YouTubers mad at me. Cheers. I mean, are you kidding me? We saw that clear as day. There was no backing. And they got people to give up their XLM to trade into a bunch of crap that was all just lies. It was so sad to see. But in my XLM deep dive, this is what I talked about, and why I talked about the potential for XLM is you are going to see companies who, instead of issuing their shares on just the stock market, right, through the traditional method, they're going to tokenize their company and issue shares through tokens on a blockchain that do represent their company. That is happening. That is happening on the Stellar network. That's happening on the XRP ledger network. And so the idea that the whole stock market's moving to XLM is not true. I mean, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but what we're seeing right now is that you have securities or equities, shares of companies that are going to be issued on Stellar, that are going to be issued on XRP, that are going to be issued on Ethereum. They're going to be issued on all sorts of stuff, right? What does matter is the equities market that is worth hundreds of trillions of dollars is moving to DLT. Is it all going to XLM? No. Is it all going to XRP? No. Is it going to Ethereum? How much of it is going to go to Ethereum? A blockchain that's slow, inefficient, and sucks. Well, we'll see. I mean, Ethereum's been well entrenched. I've been blown away at how much it's been able to get, the price that it's been able to go to and command when, Ethereum has no max supply, by the way. Like, many people don't even know that there's no max supply on Ethereum, right? That's why I will give Bitcoin some respect. They got a decent little narrative. Unfortunately, when you look behind the scenes and when you understand the involvement behind the scenes on that project and how easy it is to fork that ledger, that's what I don't like about Bitcoin. But that's neither here nor there. To each their own. The point that I'm trying to make right now is that we have a lot of scammers in crypto, and it's so sad that they came to a truth community, a community that's seeking truth, a community that's trying to invest in their future, that's trying to leave the traditional system behind, that is trying to invest in righteous investments, and they got scammed doing so. I was so sad to see. So sad to see. HBAR, Quant. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is Quant's doing significant work. Absolutely. HBAR's got significant partnerships. Absolutely. Don't turn me on as much as XRP, but they got something cute going on. What makes me sad is so many people don't understand what is happening. I am concerned with the threat of World War III right now and what that looks like moving forward for a reset. Exactly. I think that I really wish this wasn't the case. My sources are saying it. We're moving. We already have assets there, significant assets there. We've already given them plenty of weapon. We've given them billions of dollars. We give them billions of dollars every year. Now we're set to give them another 14 billion. Our country's in a serious situation here where we have been infiltrated from within. We don't have a secure country. We don't have a safe country. We're seeing all sorts of chaos erupt in the streets of America. We're seeing clashes amongst the people. We're seeing division amongst the people. We're seeing stress and tension and frustration peaking out, reaching a climax. And the unfortunate part is we still have a year to go to finish off this election cycle. And we were just talking about this in the Discord call last Saturday. Are we even going to have a 2024 election? Now, see, these are some of the topics that I am careful to talk about, but I asked the question myself. It's looking like it's going to be a little shaky one. It's going to be a little uncertain. Station, that's exactly right. The scammers always try to infiltrate the communities that spout the truth so they can try and corrupt them and set them against each other. Stay strong and stay ready. God bless the XRP community. Look at how many people have come and gone. And I've warned about these guys. They use the XRP community. They come in and they're an XRP maxi, XRP to the moon. I've watched all these content creators. They've made their whole platform off of XRP. But then wait, hold up. They figured out that Ripple wasn't going to cut them a check. And Ripple doesn't cut us checks. Unlike many people believe that I'm paid by Ripple. I'm not paid by Ripple. I love what Ripple's doing. I'd be happy to work for them for free. But we're not paid by Ripple. And they realized that Ripple's not going to pay them. So then they flip, then they pivot, because then they got to shill a bunch of crap so that they can make a little change. They can put a little change in their little pocket because they're little guys and they need little checks. And that's why they're little crypto shills. I saw so much of this from TikTok. And then I come over here onto Twitter and onto YouTube. I've seen all these guys come and go. All these guys, they come, they go. They spread negativity. And then look at all the tokens that have been launched. I don't need to name names, right? They've tried to say they're the real deal. Oh, you guys aren't solving the riddles and the decodes right. XRP's not it. It's actually this coin or that coin. Trust me, bro. And the sad part is that they've, in the community that we find here, is that folks have had to give up their bags. And this is why I say the damages are so massive, is all the people that have had to give up their bags over the last 3 years during this lawsuit is a direct correlation to the actions by our government against us. What our government has done is they put XRP in purgatory, and then our government and an extension of our government, the Federal Reserve, that's not federal government at all, and there are no reserves, rug pulled us at the fastest pace in history, i.e. creating a recession, creating tough times in a bear market. And they caused these damages. They caused these people to have to offload their XRP because of financial hardship. They got people to offload their XRP because they got fudded out. They couldn't make it to the dance, which, to each their own. I'm not here to save everybody. Some people are going to do their own deal. That's fine. When I look at XRP and I think of just going to $5 or $10, that's exciting enough for me. When we talk about further price predictions, I don't shy away. I don't shy away at all. Many folks say, don't do this. Don't talk about price. Don't make predictions. Don't put yourself out there. I don't want to live a lame existence, so I thank you for the consideration, but I'm going to have to pass because I like to have a little bit of fun and I want to make a lot of damn money. Okay? So if we ain't talking about making a lot of damn money, then what the heck are we doing? So yes, I want to talk about XRP going to 50, 100, settling trillions of dollars. having trillions of dollars parked on the ledger in the form of value, represented through NFTs, represented and moved through the AMM, represented and moved through tokenized stocks on the XRP ledger, tokenized real estate deals on the XRP ledger, tokenized derivatives of any form of value on the XRP ledger. And as I've always said, the issued assets, the tokens on the XRP ledger, are essentially all derivatives, because all a derivative is it's an option or an instrument to get you exposure to an underlying asset that backs said derivative. So if I launch, X Gold is one example of a token on the XRP ledger that's supposed to be backed by gold. I haven't seen their reserves. I haven't been able to investigate them too deeply, but it's an example of gold being tokenized and put on the XRP ledger. And what was funny about this conversation is this is where some of my haters misconstrued what I said, which they do on purpose anyways, but they flipped what I said about XRP being backed by gold. I've never said that XRP was going to be pegged to gold. What I've said is that XRP is going to be backed by everything of value that is put on the XRP ledger. So if I tokenize a real estate deal and put it on the XRP ledger, that in a sense, by extension, is indirectly backing XRP. All of these protocols will be backed by the value that is put and moved on the ledger. So you have cross-border payments that is going to impact XRP price, but you also have tokenized derivatives on the XRP ledger that are going to impact XRP price. When I look at these markets, we're talking about hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of dollars. When I make conservative price predictions, when I make conservative assumptions about us just getting a sliver, a few percentage points of some of these markets, we move to a whole new reality. And when I take a look at the actual circulating supply of XRP, I believe it's a lot less than what we are being led to believe. And that's one of the greatest deceptions in the XRP story right now, is that there's 50 billion circulating and there's 100 billion tokens and that Ripple controls all of them. And it's never going to go up because all Ripple is doing is dumping on us. Ripple has the most incentive to see the price of XRP go up. So what are they doing? They're not selling to exchanges for me and you, Joe Blow, to add a little XRP bag, to make our little moon bag, so that we can stack our bags while we do a little riddle, sing kumbaya in the XRP community and have a good time. That's not what they're doing. They don't care about that. Even though they threw us a proper party, what do they care about? Institutions exclusively. Governments, institutions, and the biggest banks and businesses in the world. And by extension, they service. See, they don't have to touch the retail end users directly to impact us on the back end. That's where they put a dent in the universe. That's where they impact 8 billion people on this planet, is through the back end. And you know what I mean by that, right? What I mean by that is wholesale settlements on the back end. They're working with the banks and the institutions that do the wholesale layer of payments in the financial infrastructure, right? So are we going to use XRP to buy our coffee? Maybe not necessarily, but the bank that payment processor is using is going to be using XRP on the back end for settlement. That's where this goes. Along with us retail being able to use our XRP to build out all sorts of utility business models and investments on the XRP ledger as well. See, that's where I am so excited right now, because we're going to eat up this cryptocurrency market cap. I believe the overall cryptocurrency market cap, I believe, has the potential to 2 to 3x what we did last bull run. Last bull run, we went up to 3 trillion overall cryptocurrency market cap. So if we do a 2 to 3x, that's 6 to 9 trillion. Let's round up, let's have a little bit of fun, and let's throw a proper party round 2 during the next bull run, and maybe we can achieve 10 trillion for our overall cryptocurrency market cap. How much of that is going to be represented in XRP? Let me know in the comments down below how much of a market cap you think XRP achieves. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. What this next bull run, which I do believe begins next year, but might not top out until 2025. I think that we could see XRP at a significantly higher market cap. You bet. You bet. When you consider that XRP already surpassed Ethereum without all of the utilities that we have, without legal clarity, without all of the existing Ripple partnerships, XRP already surpassed Ethereum. Right? So this is where we could see XRP at, double digits with ease. Double digits with ease in the blink of an eye. I want our community to be prepared for that. And I'm hoping that we can save folks from, not making it to the dance. Because I know it's been getting tough out there. And I've always brought this back to reality. There are folks that are going to have to sell at $5, that are going to have to sell some at $10. I'm not here to tell them what to do. With that money, with those gains, maybe they're paying off their mortgage. Maybe they're getting out of debt completely. Maybe they can finally quit their job that's going to, be the death of them. I don't know what their financial situation is. I don't know what their personal circumstances are. So I'm not going to tell somebody that they shouldn't sell XRP at $5 or $10. I'm only going to sell a small portion at $5 and $10. I'm only going to sell a small sliver at $20 and $30. And after we go through this next run up, and then we come back down with additional regulations and DeFi getting built out on the XRPL, this is where I'm going to feel comfortable leveraging my XRP. That's the plan for me, is to not sell most of my bag, but to leverage my XRP. And then I'm going to leverage that into real estate, and I'm going to leverage it into more businesses. And I would encourage you guys to take control of your investments right now as well. Right now, if you have the 401k program, see what we can do to maximize that opportunity. But we understand that our capabilities are limited. I have my affiliate down below if you're looking to roll over your 401k. We can also get metal shipped directly to you as well. And I have my favorite exchanges and wallets linked up at my website as well. If you guys need an exchange where you can buy XRP, where you can buy XDC. It's tough to get some of these coins these days. Now, if you need a wallet, we got a couple there at my website as well too. And I've been saying, what we need right now is seamless access to cryptocurrency. Cold storage is not going to be for everyone. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the ETFs. When we get the spot XRP ETF, when we get the spot Bitcoin ETF, this is all inevitable. And this allows grandpappy and grandma to load up a little bit of XRP or Bitcoin or their favorite crypto. This is all coming. And by the time that it's happening, by the time it's hitting the headlines, it's going to be too late. Right now, while XRP is at 57 cents, right now, as we watch the cryptocurrency market in a little bit of a bull trap rally, I think we're about to have a pullback. And so we get another sub 50 cent XRP. Now is the time to accumulate before we get full utility realization. That is what is coming. And I don't even think that we get full utility realization even in the next couple years. I think we get another speculation run with a little bit of utility. After that, then we get real utility built out from there, right? I think that we still will have significant speculation in this next bull run. And that's why we actually XRP and others can move so much, is because we will have so much speculation plus utility. It's going to be the best of both worlds. People are going to be FOMOing into XRP after it goes to $1, after it goes to $2. People will be FOMOing into XRP at all-time high. Now, on the other side of that, there's going to be a lot of people hitting the exits on the way up too. So be ready for these pullbacks. Be ready for the violence. This is going to be one of the most volatile assets in the world, XRP. It already has been. It's already shown you. It's already shown you before we've gone up to significant prices. So it's one thing when XRP's moving, pumps up to $1. It's pretty incredible. Shakes us up, shuts down all the exchanges. But what are you going to be able to stomach This is a serious question. Are you going to be able to stomach seeing XRP go to a new all-time high of $4, but then crash back down to $2.50? You know, are you going to be able to stomach that? Seeing your bag go from $100,000 back down to 50,000. Seeing your bag go from 20,000 back down to 10,000. Or are you going to have an exit strategy? Are you going to have a reallocation program so that you know what to do when we go to these price points? You will be acting unemotional. You will be making your maneuvers, and we'll be having a good time while we do it. Hopefully, right? That's the goal. I have an exit strategy in place for every single one of the positions that I have. For precious metals, no exit. For XRP, I'm only exiting a very small percentage of my XRP holdings. Very, very small. And then with the other cryptocurrencies, I'm ready to exit all those 100%. Or at least dang near 100%. Yeah. And I've already done it with Algo. I've already done it with XLM. I got way more XRP by doing so. I trade Bitcoin. That's how I've made additional XRP as well. With these other cryptos, though, I just don't see them as a reserve. I just don't see them as being as big as XRP. And so that's why, for me, all these other cryptos, I am not married to in any sort of way. I will be selling off 100% of them during the next run-up. When it comes to XRP, it's a different beast. It's a different reserve currency. The other cryptos aren't even in the conversation of reserve currency. You know, the Bitcoin bros would argue that Bitcoin's in the conversation of reserve currency. I would beg to differ. But I like to keep it real on the price action that's coming, on what I'm going to be doing, and on the fact that a lot of folks are going to have to sell, and I'm not going to blame them. You know, I'm not going to blame them. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. And I just want you to have a plan in place, because I know it's going to be violent. I know it's going to be violent. See, we're still showing up every single day right now. I'm still trying to get my message out every single day, because I know now is the opportunity to get in before the next bull run and before literally trillions of dollars come into this space. Whether we double up or triple up the overall cryptocurrency market cap since last bull run, 6 to 10 trillion, XRP gets a big chunk of that. Bitcoin is going to get a big chunk of that too. Is it worth the investment? I'd rather not partake. I feel dirty owning Bitcoin. I don't touch Ethereum unless I have to. And I felt like a freaking idiot when I was paying $100 in gas fee to receive 24 NFTs for free. I was like, what am I doing? This is not the future. I bought $50 worth of Ethereum. First time I'd ever bought an Ethereum, actually. And it ended up not being enough. So I had to go buy another $50 worth of Ethereum. I haven't even checked that. I need to go check that. I forgot that I own NFTs. I forgot. Next time I do my portfolio allocation, I should probably do that here soon for you guys, huh? I haven't done a portfolio update in a while. I guess next time I do my portfolio allocation, I can't forget about my NFTs. And I probably still hold just a little bit of Ethereum. I forgot about that. That's funny. What a joke. Yeah, and then the opportunity for passive income on XRP is going to be massive. It's going to be plentiful. You bet. What about the market cap bros? I think that they fail to understand how utility, and specifically the liquidity utility, brings in a different equation that needs to be done to calculate the value of XRP and to evaluate the price of a said asset. The fair market value cannot be found through just the market cap calculation on an asset that's providing liquidity. And you have to look at the burn rate. You have to look at circulating supply. And you have to look at how quickly tokens can be reused. It's a completely different equation from market cap. Silver eagles for exchanges of goods and services in a crisis. Michael, that's exactly it. My silver is part of my blackout barter allocation. when you know what hits the fan. I want offline assets is what I call them. Offline assets for blackout barter is the term that I've coined. And my prepping includes food, essentials, cash, and precious metals, exclusively silver. I've been meaning to buy some gold. Actually, let me give a shout out. I don't even know if this is real. This gentleman, Abram Taylor, huge shout out to Abram Taylor, mailed me this. He sent me this in the mail, and I don't even know if this is real or not. Goldback authorized dealer, goldback.com. I'm not a sponsor. It's not a sponsor, an affiliate. This gentleman just sent me this in the mail. And I opened this up today and I was like, what the heck is this? This is a Utah Goldback. So I guess I officially own some gold. It says that this is 1/1000th of a troy ounce. Exchangeable by Goldback Inc. in U.S. gold coin to bearer on demand. I don't know what this is. I have to look this up. I was going to reach out to this gentleman who had mailed this to me, but I guess I finally own some gold. No, but I'm gonna be buying a little bit more gold just to dip my toes in the water, just to say that I have some. But I'd asked Twitter just last weekend. I said, guess what investment I just made? And a lot of people had a lot of good guesses, but there was only one person that got it right. They put some like meme or GIF. Well, actually, you know what? I gotta be careful. I'm not going to say what I bought. I'll use code word. I bought some freedom seeds, if you know what I'm talking about. There was only a couple of people that guessed it, but yeah, one of the most recent allocations that I just made, I do include that in the precious metals category, was some freedom seeds. And now I guess I got these Goldbacks. Damn, a penny worth. They say it's real. Those are real, Zach. Not sure who will take them as tender, but they are real. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, if you guys want to send me stuff, my mailing address is in the description of every video. I've gotten some pretty cool stuff, actually. I got a couple other blue folders. I got a couple books. The blue folders that I got were full of like all this information and some cool stuff. We've received some cool stuff, but I appreciate you guys, all the love. It's always great. But yeah, some brass, some freedom seeds. Yes, that's the most recent investment that I made. And holy cow, has the price gone up on that. I've done well on that investment over the last couple years. When do you think that Ethereum will be replaced and by who? That's a good question, CC. I believe that Ethereum gets replaced by a handful of other cryptocurrencies with smart contract capabilities. I don't necessarily believe in one Ethereum killer. I believe in a group of smart contract blockchains taking a significant share of Ethereum and Ethereum losing its role as the lead smart contract platform, because the Ethereum 2.0 rollout was supposed to solve a lot of the issues with Ethereum, and it was a complete failure. Doesn't look like they're going to fix any of those issues anytime soon, and so that's why I think that it's inevitable. You got plenty of other blockchains and alternatives, along with XRP, that's going to have smart contract capabilities coming to it. There's just no reason. EVM sidechain right now, we're looking at that one too. You have Flare, exactly. You have Solana, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Solana, but yeah, the VCs were behind Solana in a major way. Look into Kinesis, gold and silver backed by both can be minted. That's interesting. Well, I guess I can officially say I own some gold. Now we can hold up our gold, we can hold up our silver, and we can hold up fiat trash funny money. Been cracking at Robert Kiyosaki holding up the money. Robert Kiyosaki's gone fully unhinged. He doesn't care anymore. And that's the best thing about Marine Vietnam vets. They don't care. Reminds me of my grandfather. He just let it fly. Robert Kiyosaki's rich too. You get a rich Marine Corps Vietnam vet. That's what I'm talking about. Do you have to take a hardship cash out on your 401k to transfer to silver? John, no. Our affiliates are they're compliant. You roll over your 401k with no penalty. But if you have any questions, you just can get in touch with them through my website, zachrector.com. And that's why we chose the affiliates that we did, is so that we can get our precious metals, our 401k retirement accounts rolled over to precious metals. Yeah, no hardship penalty. Free DAI. I know, it's crazy that he still doesn't have his Twitter account back yet, right? All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this session. It's been a pleasure. We've gone here for almost 2 hours tonight. We're going to be watching the monthly candle close tomorrow. I have fresh content that's dropping tomorrow morning too, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And we will have more content coming tomorrow as well. Like I said, this weekend, Saturday, every Saturday we have our Discord weekly call, but this Saturday is going to be a special session, a tactical wealth session on trust, entities, wealth protection, tax mitigation, all that good stuff. I'm going to be talking about real examples of how I'm doing it, and I'm excited to share this content, this education, and the resources for our community. If you're looking to get tapped in over there, it's at my website, zachrector.com. Sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord, and we would love to have you in the community of like-minded individuals. If you haven't already, let's smash it. Let's get that thumbs up going. It really does help the content out. And guys, I just want to say thank you so much. If you're new here, make sure we subscribe, hit that notification bell. We don't want to miss any of the content. A lot more good stuff on the way. Make sure you stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all.